So we're back with the Subaru and all of its goodness, and we're gonna touch base on something I did recently with this. So we'll open this bad boy up. I did go to repost a video on this, but unfortunately I don't have the video for some reason. But we're gonna talk about the wiring upgrade I did on the SVX. So this is gonna really pertain to basically the ground wires. Obviously this is all cleaned up. I'm running the little fuse in here. If it is windy, sorry about that, guys. Like I said, almost every video I make, it's always windy here. But we'll try to get into this. So what you're gonna need to do, obviously you're gonna need to take the battery out. You don't want to have a charge on this when you're going in and doing all this. I had to do this because I wanted to replace the alternator anyways. If you want to know what the part number is, it is a Duralast unit, which is going to be part number 14456. I've heard mixed things about these, but so far mine has been good for the last 500 miles. Let's jump back into wiring now. So now that we're back with the SVX, and we already got the part number out of the way for the alternator. Next up, what we're going to need is the connector itself, which is basically going to be a pigtail. It's going to be probably about as long as this piece is. So it's going to have the connector and then the strand of wires, which is just a 2-wire plug. That's going to run back. What you're going to end up having to do once you have the alternator out of the way, by the way, in order to take the alternator off, you are going to have to loosen the pulley down here. Be careful. Loosen the main nut first for the pulley, and then draw it back with the tensioner screw. Make sure you're going the right way. Because this screw itself, if you destroy this screw, it's no longer available from Subaru. So you're gonna have to find a part out car. This one's still good. This whole assembly does pop out, but it is also connected to power steering pump. Next, we'll jump into the battery connections. The black and the red connector are just your normal battery connectors from Walmart. I was looking for a little bit better ones because I ran the bolt setup, but the bolts that came with it were actually long enough to actually run the power links. So these power links, you're going to need to have 2 sets, because when you buy them, it comes in sets of 1 black, 1 red. Obviously I'm having multiple here, so I had 2 packs of these. These were $10 a pack, so there's $20 right there. This wire right here is coming out of the SVX fuse box. You can just chain that back in under one of the power links, and that'll be fine. Now there is a 2-wire plug that runs up through. That 2-wire, it's a white wire connector that runs up through. Chop it off. It comes from over here, runs down through. I ended up chopping it down to about right here. I soldered each one on the ends. I shrink wrapped it, and then I wrapped both of them together to seal them away. They are actually tucked down there in the main harness loom. You can't see them. So now what we got going on here is this one's power. Then we have this one right here, which is the starter wire. It runs down and up underneath the battery, back through to the starter top side. Then you have the main charge wire, which is going to be running power straight back. It runs through the 175 amp mega fuse, or the little fuse mega fuse, that's what it's called, which is back tucked behind here. And then it pops out through and hits the battery. This is a slow blow fuse, so if this thing decides to overcharge at like 16 plus volts, it will slowly burn that fuse out before it destroys the fuse box, which it's a common thing. It will burn out wiring. Yes, you're going to still want to keep your fusible link intact, so you're definitely going to still want the fusible link, but everything else in here will operate the way it normally does. Now you're just bypassing those 2 wires and running basically extra protection just in case that thing decides to fail, which the voltage regulators in the SVX alternators love to fail. So that's all good. The connectors, same thing. Rewire that, splice it in, seal it off, and then you can run either, went through, there's a giant, mine's all shrink wrapped all the way up, and then I also ran electric taped around it in a spiral all the way down through. And this is running back behind everything, so it's nice and undercover basically, which you can see it pops out over here and then runs down the side of the valve cover. This wire runs back basically through. You're gonna need obviously the bronze connectors to reattach, but runs back up underneath and then back around for like a nice clean install. This is all done with 4 gauge Colossus Flex wire, as you can see down there on the red wire, Colossus Flex. It's 4 gauge wire, but it's closer to like a 3.5, 3.75 wire. Super good wire, but it's also, this is all done with 20 feet of wire, 10 feet of red, 10 feet of black, and that was about almost $50 in just wiring. So it's good wire, and it flexes nice, but keep in mind it's also a little bit on the expensive side. Any 4 gauge wire will do, but just giving you a heads up. Obviously heat shrink the ends where you have the copper terminals that will plug into everything. I would try to pop this off quick, but I don't think it's going to come off that easy. Yeah, that thing's on there pretty good, but it's back there. And then obviously used dielectric grease on the ends, so if water does get in there, it's not going to mess with that. Obviously I have your cool Noco foam guards on the bottom with the corrosion resistant gel in it. That way it doesn't start it doesn't start corroding out. Negative wise, we have the one power wire, or the one negative wire, going to chassis, which is basically just a cleaned up OEM ground. We have a secondary ground, which is going to go from battery to engine. We got from here, and it's going to go to the side of the AC bracket right here as shown. Same thing, clean up the side of the bracket so it has a nice clean, try to zoom in for you guys, nice clean touch going on with it. Now with the other wire that you see here, so that's obviously 2 main grounds. This one is going to my starter. This one's kicking back, following the same line as the power wire, running up underneath the battery. Both wires are running back through, positive, negative. Negative jumps back here and attaches to the main bracket underneath this hose, as you can see. Gotta get you there, right in there, right above the transmission code. That same ordeal, clean off that bracket and make sure it's a nice good thing, and then hit it with some dielectric grease as well. That's going to be pretty much all of it. All in all, I think if we total this all up, if you don't factor in the alternator, this connector was about $20. All the copper wire, the ends, those were probably like, I want to say it was like $10 for like a 30 pack or 40 pack for the 4 gauge setup. These were $10 a piece, so we got 15, 25, 35, 45. Then we got about $50 in wires. There's 95. This was $30. Just say about $150, and we'll get you everything you need for the upgraded wiring setup. And then that will also give you standalone protection if the alternator does decide to fail. Not kicking anything against the fusible link, but this fuse will definitely hold better than the fusible link does, and it will stop it before it hits here. So definitely a nice little added protection, and it's a clean look. You got the little power links, so if you need to unbolt, and then pop them off. These bolts come with these connectors. So I was originally worried that it wouldn't be enough bolt to lock these things down, but it is literally the perfect length. And these are just your generic ones from Walmart, which were $10. So if you see them, one's black, one's red, and they're the thicker ones. There's cheaper ones that are like super dinky looking. These are the thicker ones, so these ones definitely are nice. The only issue I did originally have is when I hooked the fuse box wire up underneath this power link, I guess I wasn't making enough of a connection with the actual metal piece here, so I ended up having to shave it down. I'm assuming it was the coating, the red coating on this was interfering with actual like power disruption. So clean that off, worked great. Besides that, everything's working good. 500 miles deep so far. Everything's running good, getting consistent volts, and it's running good with the recent parts haul. If you guys are looking to get an SVX, keep in mind it is a constant project. Now mine, like I said, it is fairly clean for what it is, but then again, I got mine from a one owner. Got the back seat still down. Yes, the back seat goes down. If you guys didn't know, the back seat goes down. That's going to be the last step, 6-speed swap. But other than that, it's a very, very clean car. So I plan on keeping it that way. Just hit 104,000 miles, so 104 and a half. And it runs good. It just needs some paint. I am going to keep doing videos on the SVX. So if you guys are specifically just here for the SVX, definitely stay tuned because I am going to still be doing videos on this. I thought about running a little bit more in depth on the radio install because some people don't realize that there is a guy that makes the actual radio harness for these vehicles. His name's David Carter, super cool guy. He makes the actual antenna adapter so you can still get your radio to work, and then he also makes the actual radio adapter itself, like the radio harness, to go from OEM to new, which I have a touchscreen in that, which is now a Kenwood unit, but I think that I touched base on that in an older video. If I didn't, go ahead and drop a comment and I will answer that. Overall, fun little car. It's a unique little car. It's just, if something breaks on it, sometimes it can be a pain to mess with. Overall, though, most of the parts are swappable with STI parts, ironically enough, like the wheels or the rear links or tons of other stuff. I mean, it's this thing is sort of like that thing in terms. So Hondas are pretty much like Legos, as they say. So are Subarus. Subarus are the same way. It's just, you just need to know what to use to Lego them together. Like the transmission in this thing is a Forester transmission, which has the 444 gearing, which is a common swap to get these done because the OEM SVX destroys every transmission it'll eat. OEM transmissions, these things eat alive. But that's the whole thing. If you Google it, you'll see that's like the main thing for this is that, and the fact that it wasn't offered in a manual. That's like the two things that really killed this car out, and the fact that when they came out in '91, I have the original sticker for mine. It was $30,000 in '91, which is pretty damn expensive. I think it's like $60,000 now in today's money. And without a manual, I mean, it's a nice car, but I don't know if I'd pay $60,000 for one of these. Not brand new. But besides that, if you want to see more videos on the SVX as a whole, or the EG, or the Stang, or the Beamer, or the car that'll be sitting there, actually it'll be sitting right here in the driveway, the Genesis, go ahead and follow the channel, hit the subscribe button over there, and like I said, if you have any questions on any of these, go ahead and hit me up in the comments. I do read those comments. I do actually read them, and I reply back most times. But it's just a matter of time. Like I said, I work a full-time job. I have a kid. I do normal people stuff. I don't just my life isn't 100% this. I mean, even though this is like my bread and butter right here, I love this. But I can't just absorb myself 100% into this, considering I have a job and all the other stuff that comes with being grown up. Besides that, thanks for watching, guys, and like always, share the content, share it, because we're gonna get this channel above 5,000 subscribers, and we're gonna get this channel popping again. That way, I can really get some stuff going with the Mustang, the Civic, the Subaru, the Genesis. It's a fun car, but I don't know about dumping money into it. It's fun the way it is. Good daily. But besides that, thanks for watching. And like always, stay tuned because there's definitely more to come. See you guys.